Welcome to Grading 101, Introduction to Grading, brought to you by PCGS. Today we're going to take a look at grading Mint State Morgan dollars. As you all know, Morgan dollars are among the most popular of the collector series, and because they were saved in quantity principally by the Treasury for many, many years, there are a large number of Mint State Morgan dollars on the market, and they are quite affordable. So let's take a look at Mint State 60 to Mint State 69 grades for Morgan dollars, and we'll look at a couple examples of each because no two are exactly alike. We'll start at the bottom of the scale with Mint State 60. As you can see, this coin has not had a happy life, even though it's never been in circulation. It is heavily abraded with a lot of marks, scratches over the entire surface, and note a deep scratch in the left field in front of the nose. Mint State 60 is actually a pretty rare grade for a Morgan dollar, mainly because coins in this condition are very seldom sent to us, so we examine relatively few in this grade. Here's another Mint State 60. This one's kind of different. Note the very weak strike in the hair above the ear and on the eagle's breast. Also, the luster is very dull, and the coin has some spots, on the obverse and reverse. Overall, it's just not a very attractive or appealing coin, and we just can't give it much more than Mint State 60. Now, Mint State 61 is also a pretty heavily abraded coin. You see a lot of numerous marks and scratches over the entire surface, and on the reverse, note the very deep cut on the eagle's breast. Here's another Mint State 60. This one doesn't have the marks the last one did, but again, you have a weak strike with the hair above the ear and very, very flat and dull luster on this coin. From an eye appeal standpoint and everything else, it just doesn't merit much more than Mint State 61. Now, by Mint State 62, you've still got a good number of marks, but the fields are clearing up and none of the marks are extremely heavy. You'll note some reverse spots on the coin, which certainly don't help. Here's another Mint State 62, quite a few marks on the cheek, which is a very noticeable spot. And the fields aren't too heavily marked up. The toning on the reverse, most would not find very attractive. So this coin, between the marks on the obverse and the toning on the reverse, just couldn't quite cut Mint State 63, so we'll grade this 62. Now, by Mint State 63, you've still got noticeable marks in the fields and devices, but the coin no longer looks really beat up. Sure, there's some marks, but you're getting to the point where this is the kind of coin that most collectors might consider starting to collect for one of the more common dates. Here's another Mint State 63. This one has a striking problem. Again, the hair above the ear is flat. The eagle's breast is flat. But marks aren't nearly as big a problem. You don't see very many marks on the obverse or the reverse. So on this one, the strike is what primarily held this coin down from a higher grade. Now here's a Mint State 64. By this point, you see the fields and devices are now relatively clean, with just some scattered marks, most of which are pretty light. A few on the cheek, quite a few on the reverse fields, especially to the right of the eagle. But strike is okay, luster is okay. And, this is a pretty average Mint State 64 coin. Here's another one. This one has a few more marks on the cheek. They're all very light, and fields are pretty clean. On the reverse, very few marks. So overall, this one's held to 64 primarily, again, because of the light marks covering the face of Liberty. Moving on to Mint State 65, the devices are now showing minimal marks. There's a few scattered marks in the fields, if you notice, to the right of Miss Liberty's head. On the back, you see some to the left of the eagle. But the coin's quite nice now. This is certainly a very choice example of an uncirculated coin. And Mint State 65 has classically been the dividing line for so-called investment-grade coins. We really don't like that term, but Mint State 65 really breaks into the upper echelons of quality. Here's another Mint State 65. This one's exceptionally nice. It's got very nice original toning, peripheral toning on both the obverse and the reverse. The cheek is quite clean. You still see some marks on the lower part of the neck in front of Liberty's face. But generally, this is very nice Mint State 65, probably getting close to Mint State 66 on this one. Here's a full Mint State 66, and as you can see, only a few tiny scattered marks remain. Just a very light scratch below the eye on Liberty. A couple of scattered marks to the right of the eagle on the reverse. But this is certainly getting into the gem category now. Mint State 66 Morgans are far scarcer than Mint State 65s. Here's another Mint State 66. This one sort of has semi-proof-like fields, so you may pick up a few more visible marks in the fields, but the cheek is just exceptionally clean. And with the cheek this clean and an overall look of this coin, we believe this one merits Mint State 66. Now we're going to get to the really top-end coins, starting with Mint State 67. Here you see a few trivial marks floating around in the fields, but not very many. Very good luster and strike on this coin. And Mint State 67 Morgans are quite rare. Quite rare. Here's another Mint State 67. Again, this one having superb luster and surfaces, a very sharp strike. And just the very lightest marks can be seen in the fields. A few to the lower right of the eagle on the reverse, and a couple behind Liberty's head, very, very light. The cheek is almost perfect. Once again, certainly every bit a full gem. And now we break into the really, really rare coins, the Mint State 68. You need to look closely to find a mark on this coin. There really aren't very many. The overall color, luster, and strike is absolutely exceptional on this. And here's another Mint State 68. This one just has outstanding original bag toning, and probably gave it a little bit of a boost up to 68 on this. It's just one of those coins where you look at and say, wow. And we felt that the superb original toning certainly gave it a boost to Mint State 68. And finally, to the top end of the scale, at the threshold of perfection, the Mint State 69s. These are extraordinarily rare. Only a handful have been graded by PCGS in over 30 years. And you can see why. This coin looks like it was, almost handled like a proof. It virtually made contact with no other coins. And here's one more 69. That's probably about all we've graded, really. And again, you see that finding a mark on the obverse would take some time and patience. The coin has absolutely superb luster, strike, and eye appeal, and really is literally a 1 in a million coin to find a Morgan dollar in this grade. Well, we hope this has been instructive, and we thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for another webinar for Grading 101.